Hello and welcome to the Rabbit Hole with me and Rachel Harris. How you doing, Rach? Are you all right?
I'm all right. Yeah, Section 28, trans yesterday, not very good. So, more things to fight.
Yeah.
Opening up new fronts of activism and campaigning, But hey,
Yeah.
we're still here.
Well, and this is why we do the show. It's so we can talk about anything but that, because God, it's so depressing that. Anyway, let's not get started. Okay,
No, it is, but it is what it is. I mean, you can have my job. I talk about toilets all day to corporates.
Okay, cool, fantastic.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that. It would be a bit weird if I was the richest author in the world and I just had to spend my whole life talking about toilets.
Oh, why would you? Wouldn't you buy an island and a big yacht and just go around the world? And
it's exactly what I would do.
Yeah,
Isn't it funny how all these men who got very, very vexed about trans women competing in sporting events aren't watching the women's Euros?
No.
Because they really care about women's sport. It's a really big issue for them.
Yeah, it's like women's groups that talk about the one trans prisoner. They don't worry about women's suicide in prison, or they don't worry about mental health of women in prison. They don't they don't care about any of that. But the one trans woman that exists.
Yeah, Roe versus Wade. Okay, cool. Well, we're talking politics now, Rach. Let's stop doing this. We're supposed to talk conspiracy theories, which have nothing to do with hang on.
No. Well, okay. I suppose trans women are a risk of women is a conspiracy.
That is a conspiracy. Yeah, along with the protocols of the elders of Zion. So big shout out to Chris and Diz and Sarah Davis and Trip in the chat. I realised I didn't say my name. I'm Graham Hughes. Hello, if you've not been here before.
I'm Rachel.
Unless you're a regular, you won't be able to comment. We make it so it's just the people that we know and love who can join the chat.
There's a trans person on, and people don't like trans people, and so we have to switch the comments off. So I'm just here to annoy people.
But yeah, we've you're here to spread delight and love
and existence.
Yeah, and and to make the trolls cry.
Oh, they hate it.
So yes, I put Diz says I think JK wants to transition. Yeah, I get that impression too. And Diz is saying hi, Graham. Hi, Rachel. Alan said, surely the further down the rabbit hole you go, you're more likely to find rabbits having nookie.
Yeah,
it's my favorite joke from Futurama when they did a riff on the Lord of the Rings. They went to like a fantasy planet, and one of them says, "Is that a hobbit?" It says, "No, it's a hobo and a rabbit, but they're making a hobbit."
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Okay, so what do you got for me tonight, Rach? What have you got?
Okay.
Oh my God, what's just happened?
I am going down the rabbit hole.
Oh, you're a panda all along. Is that supposed to be a panda? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Badger, isn't it?
Is it a badger?
Yeah,
okay, it's badger.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, well, let's do the easy. We've got 30. We're going to go through some of the ones that there are some that are common, and there are some that. So the first one, and I'm going to try and persuade you that it's sort of real.
Okay, go on.
So the moon landing, obviously, number one, the most common conspiracy was Apollo 11 never walked on the moon.
Yeah.
Because arguments being no stars in the pictures, the flag doesn't move.
Before we go on, can we go through each one? I'll try and dismiss them really quickly. Get a camera with film in it and take it out at night and take a picture with a flash of someone standing in the street on a starry night and see how many stars you see.
Got your word for that. I mean, we only got your word for it, man.
No, go and do it yourself. It's a little experiment that you can all do. Go and see how many stars you can see.
Okay. So, like they couldn't really go to the moon, because of the radiation.
Radiation from Mars.
The moon? That's a lot of radiation from the sun, man. Man can't make suits that are thick enough to bounce that radiation.
Well, wow. I mean, for a few days, yeah. But, I mean, it is a reason why a moon base will be quite difficult, because there is no molten core of the moon. But you could certainly spend a few days there. I mean, people worked on putting the concrete sarcophagus thing on top of the dome, on top of the Chernobyl nuclear power station. I mean, you could deal with a bit of radiation. And also, like, people fly in planes. Like, that gives you a lot more radiation, doesn't it? You know about that.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pilots and stewards on planes are exposed to
But the
more
moon,
radiation.
man, I mean, it's like there's no protection,
More
no
radiations.
atmosphere, and the Russians were beating the Americans, man. We had to build we had to do
Oh, okay.
something.
Well, there you
We
go.
built a
There you
dome.
go.
We built a film crew. We just
Ha-
shot it in. We shot it in the Nevada desert,
the
man.
height of the Cold War, and the Russians said nothing.
Well, the Russians
Also,
didn't know, man. We were that good.
it was it the Parkes Radio Telescope in Australia. There's a great movie with Sam Neill in it called The Dish.
The Dish.
It's about this, and they actually lost signal with them, and they had to try and track them. And they're like, oh, where do we point the dish? It's like, well, point it at the moon. So, and it would have required, I think someone ran the figures on this, it was something like 70,000, maybe more people to buy into this conspiracy. Not one of them was going to go, we didn't really do it. But also,
nobody's leaked the Epstein list, have they?
Well,
hey?
yes.
And everybody
doesn't really exist.
About it. And
Trump's called it a hoax today. Sorry, bit of politics. But also, okay, here's an interesting thing from a sort of filmmaker's point of view. There wasn't the technology at the time to make the moon landing look real, because any kind of CCTD technology for like video, which was shot onto magnetic tape, the resolution just wasn't there and the tapes weren't long enough, right? The only way you could realistically do it is on film, and then you would slow it down to half speed, right? So for a 23-minute bit of film, which is what I think it was, the 23 minutes, something like that, for that length, you would have to shoot for 46 minutes worth of film. And even at 12 frames a second, that is a shitload of film. That is a ridiculous amount of film. Like, there's no way, because reels of film at the time were like 8 minutes maximum, and that was like a big, massive reel. So the tech wasn't there to make it look like they actually landed on the moon. By shooting it here, we couldn't have done it. And the other thing is the light source, because all the shadows go in one direction, and the only way you can get all the shadows to go in one direction if you're lit by a massive light source that's 93 million miles away. If you're lit by a light source that's closer, the shadows will diverge. And if you look at the moon scenes in 2001: A Space Odyssey, when they find the monolith on the moon, the second monolith, the first one's on Earth, the monkeys find that. Well, apes find that. The second one was on the moon. The third one was Jupiter. But yeah, then they find the second one. You'll see that the shadows diverge.
Yeah. Because
they're lit by but they kind of get away with that because they had a light set up.
Okay, brother. Yeah. I'm getting the vibe. You're not following. You're getting on this train. Okay. Moon landings probably happened. I'm with you.
Okay. Cool. So chances of this one being true, I'm going to give it a big fat 0 out of 10. No chance. Okay. The Russians would have said something.
Right. And for all those reasons, I agree with you. I'm just putting the arguments to you.
I know.
Okay. So the government killed JFK.
Why? This is a big question for all these conspiracies. Like, why would you do it?
Because the guy on the grassy knoll, man, it wasn't Oswald, but getting 3 shots off. He turned, he fell, his head fell forward. Man, the bullet went all over the car. It can't have happened, man. So got to be 3 shooters. Yeah.
There were 1 year
he was going to pull out the Vietnam War. War is good, man. It makes lots of money.
They hadn't actually done the war properly by then. It was still the French who were fighting in Vietnam at the time, or French Indochina. It was the Americans didn't really come into the war till about 1965, and that was Lyndon B. Johnson. And if it was the government doing it, that was to stop the Democrats winning the next election. Because, if you assassinate a president, whoever their vice president is going to win the next election.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
But I don't understand what the point is of offering him. I mean, for the government, considering they were the government at the time.
Well, could it be something to do with Cuba? Could it be to do with his relationship with Marilyn Monroe, or maybe?
I think Trump's existence has blown all of that out of the water, because he's been allowed to mount an insurrection against the American state, and he's still there.
So to confirm, you think Lee Harvey Oswald did all 3 shots from the book depository?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Right. So I'm a little bit differing on that on you. I do agree that Lee Harvey Oswald fired. I just don't think he could have got the 3 off. But okay, that's just my view.
But that's an argument from incredulity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that just couldn't have happened. And some wacky shit has happened to me in my lifetime, and
Yeah. That's true.
I've got no explanation except
Yeah.
amazing serendipity. Just
Hmm.
the look of the Irish.
Yeah, well, if you read books on, I'm a big believer in synchronicity. There's a book by Carl Jung about called synchronicity, and he has
Oh,
three
cool.
different theories. You read it, and one of the things he says that the more you study synchronicity, the more it happens to you,
Yeah.
and it does. And I'm
Or
a big
maybe you
believer in
notice
it.
it more.
Well, that's one of his theories. Ha! I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you buy a red car, you see red cars. You buy an electric car, you
Yes.
see, yeah,
Or you learn
It's
a
that.
new word and you see it everywhere for the first
Yeah,
week
yeah,
that you've learned a new
There is
word.
that. There is that. There is that. I mean, I think there's a lot of things about coincidence, but an energy theory and quantum mechanics,
Yeah.
you can draw this stuff into your life. And one of that's actually sort of connected to one of our conspiracies a bit later. So, number 3, COVID-19 was engineered by the media.
By the media. Oh God, I thought
Yeah,
you were
it's a
going to
good
say
one.
by the Chinese for some reason
Yeah.
to wreck their own economy. No,
And the global elite,
it was
actually.
real. I'm a good personal friend with someone who was in a coma for several weeks as a result of COVID-19, and yeah, lots and lots of people died from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's that conspiracy theory gets a big 0 out of 10 for me because we
Yep.
lived through it,
Yeah.
and
I've
there's
had
a
it 4
level
times.
of conspiracy theories where they just think they're just being funny or just being like um,
Well, but if you were going to control the population, which is the other part of the meat of the equation, and they're
don't
sort
kill
of
the
just,
old people.
oh
They're
yeah,
gonna die
exactly.
anyway. Why
Yeah,
would
but
you go
also,
after
why
the
did
elderly?
to control the population? They didn't want to kill the population, and this was a virus that kind of did that, right? So it killed a lot of people. So
No,
it
it kills a lot of old people.
killed a lot of old
A
people.
lot
Yeah,
of old people. A lot more old people died. Not all boomers, Anne. But
yeah,
yeah, a lot of old people died who were past the prime of
yeah,
having children because they weren't Mick
yeah,
Jagger
yeah.
or
Well, it's
Hugh
this new
Hefner.
world order. There's all this whole new world. There's this big Great Reset, which isn't in this top 30. The Great Reset and the big world order. The Great Reset is, dome cities, rich billionaires moving to them. We all live outside and starve to death. We're all kind of Elysium kind of, and
They're
governments
almost
for
right. They're almost right, but they've just
the Great
they
Reset. Oh,
they
you believe in
seem
the Great
they
Reset?
seem to know about what billionaires want to do with our planet. They want to screw
Oh,
us
yeah.
over and
Yeah.
dance on our ashes. That's what they want to do. I
Well, I
mean,
think that, well, I think what they really want to do is I've said to you many times, and this is my conspiracy theory, is that I mean, we could all, if we have a left-wing government and we're all fluffy, we would all buy EVs, we would fight climate change, we would have economies based on green, we'd have diversity, inclusion, and grow the world in a lovely, fluffy way. However, a handful of billionaires want more. They don't want to pay tax. They want more stuff.
mm,
They want to carry on buying oil and using oil, and but they think the world's going to end themselves. So what they're doing, they're building their big fucking great bunkers in New Zealand, and they just every time if I can get another tax break off Trump, I can put more rooms in my bunker and more food in my bunker and
yeah.
make my bunker even bigger. And this is where they are. It's sort of the sort of handful of, in my theory is that billionaires are building their bunkers, building their big yachts to sell on the sea to keep so they don't have to talk to anybody anymore.
Yeah.
We'll all die horribly, and then it will just be left to about a handful of those buggers living in the bunkers with
Well,
their kids, all
here's the
killing each other to
thing.
watch Netflix.
If they try and find some in the world to hang
Yeah.
out where they think they're going to be safe, right? They're not going to be safe. So, for
No.
example, Pacific Island, they'll be fucked because we only need one tsunami and that's it. They're taken out. They're underwater forever.
Yeah.
And they can't get out, right?
Yeah.
If they buy somewhere up a mountain in New Zealand and they're like, oh, cool, I'm up a mountain. No one's going to get me with a tsunami up here. Yeah, you're probably right. But the melting ice permafrost in Antarctica is actually increasing seismic activity, increasing volcanic activity, which creates a lot of pressure being, dissipated around the planet and makes people who live in the Pacific Ring of Fire, like New Zealand, more likely to have earthquakes, more likely to have volcanic eruptions. And the earthquake thing is quite interesting because what we saw in Christchurch back when they had their huge earthquake about 15 years ago was the liquefaction, which is when the ground turns into a liquid, certain frequency, it basically shakes the soil to a point where it becomes a liquid. So these bunkers that they've got will just go.
And I have two other fallback positions. One, when pharaohs built their pyramids, they killed all the people that built the pyramids, shoved them inside with them, so that they didn't know all the secrets to getting in and out. And I feel that the guys that have built these bunkers, they may have NDA'd the fuck out of them and paid them very well, but they know where they are.
Well,
What are they going to do
that's
about
the
their
plot of my
family?
movie. That's the plot of my movie, The Bunker.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't give
But
it
also
away.
their security will kill them and then take it over. I mean,
Yeah,
no matter
of
what
course.
they do, they die,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is, so they
yeah,
might as well just fight and save the planet,
yeah.
right?
But the thing
But
is, the people who believe the conspiracy theories that the Illuminati or the Masons or whoever
yeah,
are out to destroy humanity are the same
yeah,
people who vote in people like Trump and Nigel
yeah,
Farage, who are on the side of the Illuminati or whatever this shadowy cabal actually
yeah.
is in real
Well, the
life.
Illuminati, weren't they meant to fight the Catholic Church and all the evils of the torture? I mean, then when the Illuminati good? That's what
I can't
think.
remember. Honestly.
Okay. All right. Theory number 4 then. The Earth, actually, thanks to the CERN system looking for the Higgs boson, when they
Yeah.
fired the Earth was actually fired into a black hole and we were all dead, and it happened in 2012, but we just don't realize it yet. I love that one. I didn't know this.
Tell me you know nothing about physics without saying you know nothing about physics.
Woo, black hole.
Essentially the Large Hadron Collider is a fucking big magnet. That's what it is. It's just a big magnet. I mean, and it's super cool.
It was used to kill a Terminator, right?
No. But yeah, it's that thing of there is an innate suspicion by dickheads of anyone who's cleverer than them. That's why they have to demean and put down people who do well. I'll get told that my head's full of useless information. If you're a scientist, you'd be called a boffin by the press. There's a level of disrespect of like, how dare you know stuff? How dare you know how things work? And it's jealousy. It's just pure jealousy, and then that rage that bubbles up in people because they don't understand. They can never understand because they're quite limited intelligence, and it just makes them fall down these rabbit holes to go, oh yeah, the scientists are all out to get us and plunge us all into a black hole, because that sounds like something they would do, and that ties in with the climate change denial stuff, which is all conspiracy theories. It's like,
oh yeah, people who say net zero is, I mean, people who does not deny climate are just, they're probably one of the people I hate the most. I was watching your council meeting this morning. I think it was the most depressing thing I've ever watched.
Yeah, Andrew Husband saying like, what was it? He said, "Oh, in Roman times, you used to have vineyards up here."
That's the most depressing fucking thing. When we all die and we're all killing each other in Sainsbury's for a bottle of water. I hope those guys go first, because that's the point of realization, where they realize they contributed to this.
They're so smug and stupid in equal measure. So confident in their stupidity. And Phillips, thank you so much for the first super chat of the night. Thank you. Woo! And Phillips says, gravity is a myth. The Earth sucks.
It sucks us down.
I agree. But I was also going to say, like this morning, I did a 4-hour stream from 9 o'clock, and I watched all your shit today. I hadn't even had any breakfast. I was fucking starving at the end of it. And you know what? It felt like a public service. But at the end of the day, I would have been much better off just doing me normal shows like I normally do, in terms of audience and stuff like that. But someone's got to do it. I don't know how the meeting
you
ended
punish
up.
me because I'm a bit on the spectrum, and I like to see things through. I read a book. I have to finish the book when I go on the chair. So you start your show, and I'm expecting it to be an hour, and you go on for 2.5 hours. I haven't got out of bed.
3 hours.
That's you.
And then we flicked across to PMQs. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, I'm the same. I don't like leaving things unfinished. I think I have a phobia of it. I've never ever walked out of a movie in the cinema. Never.
No.
The only time I've ever come close is when I was watching a movie called Dreaming of Joseph Lees, which I think I've told you about before. The worst movie ever.
Yeah, we did it in the
terrible movie. And I remember I was sitting right on the edge of the line of chairs. There was only a few of us in the auditorium. It was a fresh screening, and I was writing for the student rag. And I remember having my backpack literally in my hands on the edge of my seat. Not because I was so engrossed. It was just so I could get out that room once it finished. And as soon as the first credit came up, I was out of there like a rat out of hell. I guess everyone else just thought I really needed the toilet, but I didn't. I just needed to get out of there. I was chatting with the guy who did the movie reviews for the Manchester Evening News. And he went, what do you think? And I was like, that was the worst fucking movie ever. And he goes, oh, I quite liked it. I said, what did you like about it? And he went, I liked the cinematography. I went, everything was brown. Everything was brown. It was a colour film, but everything was covered in mud, and everyone was just ugly crying for 2 hours. What? Yeah. Anyway, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
Number 5. Disney created the movie Frozen so that the Google algorithm wouldn't keep picking up the fact that he'd frozen his head and stuck it below, or in cryogenics below the studio. So when you put the word Frozen in, it wouldn't come up with Disney and his cryogenic head. It would come up with the film Frozen. Hey, I've not heard that one. Not heard that one. That's number 5.
Why would they make such a great movie to do that? Frozen's one of the best modern Disney movies that isn't Pixar. It's brilliant. It's really good. It's got some amazing songs in it.
Yeah. But it's only a conspiracy theory.
I know, but like, I thought you were going to say, that Walt Disney's head's been frozen. That was the conspiracy, but it's even stupider than that. Like, I used the picture of Walt Disney's frozen head for the thumbnail of this video. But so it's a classic. It's a classic that he froze his own head.
So back to the Illuminati, right? This is really funny. Now, I don't think this one's real. Like, the Illuminati headquarters is at Denver International Airport.
I love it. I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10 for probability, because if I was running the Illuminati, that's somewhere I would put it. I put it the last place you look.
But it hasn't stopped people from believing that there are secret tunnels and lizard lairs below Denver Airport. I mean, if you're in the Illuminati, right, and I'd love to be in a secret organization like that, where I go around, with changing world orders, because I would love to have that power. I mean, lots of people think trans people have that power, but we don't. But if I did, we would be the Illuminati in a castle somewhere in the Alps or up in Austria, or somewhere where you can't find us, with flaming torches in marble pillared basements and gowns and eyes wide shut masks. That would be us in the Illuminati. Wouldn't be at Denver Airport. It's crazy, right? You're gonna do it properly. Do it properly.
Yeah, but it's like, this is the last place they would look for us. Do you know what I mean? I kind of like that idea. They think there's going to be a secret volcano fortress or something. It's like, no, we're just behind the left luggage collections point in Luton Airport.
Put ellipsis in.
And like, why would you use an airport? That's like one of the most surveilled places on Earth. Like, that's where they have facial recognition software looking out for terrorists and stuff. Brilliant. Oh, love it. I've got a couple of chats that I mentions in the chat that I want to do. One that came early from Early Burns, who says, I wrote a play in 1997 called JFK OD'd. JFK died in Marilyn Monroe's bed, and they had a double, but the CIA accidentally killed Marilyn, trying to brainwash her with LSD after they mistakenly took themselves. Took themselves? I don't know. Yeah.
I already believe it. I already believe that. That's it.
But Trump shagged a porn star behind his pregnant wife's back. He raped at least one woman that we definitely know of, because it was proven in a court of law. Yeah. And he's president again. He mounted an insurrection. He sold secret documents to America's enemies. 150 American agents fucking got killed abroad because their information was leaked by Trump. And he's, I'm sorry, this is where the reality of reality kicks in. Of if the question you always need to ask on all these conspiracies is why, and if there's no good reason why, then it just makes no sense.
Well, let me take you then to the next theory, that the Earth is 100% hollow, because we don't really know what's below us, and therefore the belief that the world is hollow has now got a foothold.
It just wouldn't work. World. It just wouldn't. If it was hollow, how have we gotten a borealis? An aurora, sorry. How have we gotten an aurora?
That's the iron core.
Iron core. And you said it was hollow. Make up your mind.
I'm just telling you what the spirit. It's the iron core that gives you.
Well, I've seen the aurora borealis with my own eyes. So
they're lights. They're hung. They're just hung up by NASA on floating. They're just like floating. Kind of whatever, with the and they're just floating. They're just floating.
No, we've definitely got a molten
They're on
core.
drones. They're just drones. They do that magical thing where you see planes flying across the Thames on New Year's Eve. There's all hundreds of
Occam's
drones.
razor.
Yeah, thousands of drones just hovering there over Iceland. Oh look, there's the Ock, there's the Ock. Okay. Well, that leads us nicely into the world is flat.
Oh God.
There are Republican politicians. You see that one on camera giving it that I believe, because all you see around are globes to persuade us everything is round, to brainwash us that everything is round. Yeah, I like that, man. But everything.
Maybe we should ask someone who's
camera.
Maybe we should ask someone who's been to every country in the world if the stars were all in the right place. Yes, they were, and rotated through the sky exactly as you would expect them to do if the world was round, in a way that they wouldn't revolve around the sky if it wasn't. So
Well, I've flown all over the world back when I worked in defense, and I can tell you that the heights we go, the world is round.
Yes.
you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it.
And also, one of my favorite adverts from the 1970s was a sort of Hamlet is a cigar you can call.
I love
Remember those adverts?
Cigars. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And there was one where Christopher Columbus is smoking a cigar as his ship goes over the edge, which is just a classic. I just thought that was very funny as a kid.
Yeah.
Really funny.
Alan Jackson says cats would knock everything off the edge. Absolutely right. But the idea that Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain would give an Italian 3 ships to go and sail off the edge of the world is just for the birds.
Yeah,
they have known since the world is round since the ancients. People have known so long that the world is round because it makes no sense no other way. Other way.
Well, if only Apollo 11 hadn't been faked, we'd have known because we'd have gone to the moon and we'd have seen the Earth from the moon. But obviously,
we did.
Really either.
Yeah. But also, I mean, why would all the other countries get in on this? And what would be the point of it? There you go. That's the best question. What would be the point of the world being flat, whereas all the other celestial objects we can see are all round, but this is the one flat one.
Yeah,
and they're covering up. Why? And this isn't just one government. This is all governments since the dawn of time, everywhere in the world.
Sorry, I'll add on the spin-off. There's another one coming up, which is connected. That the moon doesn't really exist. The moon isn't real. It's a projection.
The moon is a balloon.
The moon. Yeah. Oh, David Niven's book.
Yes. Bring on the empty horses.
That's the next one. The projection of the moon is done from the flat Earth by a secret society, so that you don't. It's part of their conspiracy. So there we go.
What can we say? I think we're proving that idiots exist.
Well, there's a lot of idiots because half the world thinks that global warming isn't a thing.
Half the world are below average intelligence.
I'm sitting in a studio at 32 degrees, in July in a studio, which is in all the windows are. I'm 32 degrees in here, and it's been 40 in here. That's never happened before. It's getting. Oh, it's just a blip. No, it's not.
You mean north of the equator, right?
Yeah, exactly.
32 degrees. I thought you meant the temperature was.
So 2 years ago, it was 42 degrees here in our garden, and all our fish died in the pond, and they all floated to the top and died because they're not used to it. It's not happened before.
Yep.
Yep. Right. So the world is flat. Right. And I like number 9. Let's see if Prince Charles is a vampire.
100%. Absolutely.
Because he's related to Vlad the Impaler.
No, he's not. I mean, maybe we all are. Maybe it's like that Charlemagne thing where we've all got the blood of Charlemagne in us or something. Okay. First of all, you've got to have the idea that vampires exist, and that blows all science out of the water.
Well, that's because we come out at night, mate, and you're very pale. You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm a day walker. What can I say?
Yeah, you're a day walker. Don't you believe in vampires? That's interesting.
No, I think they're just made up.
Oh, okay.
Humans are creative animals. They make up a lot of shit. Dragons,
vampires are a good one, right? All that
werewolves,
stuff with Kate
zombies.
Beckinsale's.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun fictional thing, but they're trying to translate fictional daftness to reality.
Would you be a werewolf or a vampire in those films? Because the vampires drive Jags and they live in big houses. And they're really cool, and the werewolves are all out in tunnels.
I'm kind of hairy, so I think that I would have to be a werewolf. I'm afraid.
Okay, I'll give you a lift in my Jag. I'll put a towel down.
I get the idea that werewolves would have probably rougher sex, whereas the The vampires would be very much. It would all be elegant and.
Well, a bit of S&M, I'm imagining vampires. They do like it looks like for the Beckinsale films.
Yeah, probably. Anyway.
Okay, right, that's good. Number 2. This is the good. Is Bigfoot real?
No.
Sasquatch. It was in this episode of the $6 Million Man.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I remember the $6 Million. We can make you better.
Yeah,
bigger,
no, I know
better,
you remember
better.
the $6 Man, but there was an episode about a Sasquatch, which was also bionic. But
bionic Sasquatch. No.
Yeah.
Everyone, I mean, this is the problem with anything like the Loch Ness Monster or Sasquatch.
Oh, that's in the list.
The Abominable Snowman or ghosts or vampires or werewolves or anything. Everyone on the fucking planet. There are 6 billion smartphones on the planet right now. And each of them have got a fucking camera on them. And no one's got a picture. And they must emit photons in some way or reflect photons in some way for you to be able to see them. Unless... Yeah, brains just made it up. And a lot of this, when I've spoken to friends of mine who are absolutely adamant they saw a ghost and they will not have anything said against the fact that they saw a ghost.
Yeah.
Their brain did see a ghost because your brain is just interpreting the signals coming in from your eyes, which are upside down, out of focus for me when I'm not wearing my glasses. It's interpreting the sounds that it hears. That's why you sometimes hear your name when no one's called your name. Because it's your brain's interpretation. It is not a CCTV camera. It's not recording all the photons that are shooting into that CCD. It is your brain has to make all these decisions and it uses shortcuts. And it's very interesting that every one of my friends who has had an experience with a ghost or something, and it's never been in the daytime in a conference room. It's always been at night. It's always been dark. They've always been half asleep.
Okay, interesting. You are a bit of a skeptic.
I'm a huge skeptic.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Bigfoot, no. Abominable Snowman, no. And ghosts weren't on the list, but we're going to say
I like the idea. It makes life more fun. But another thing is, no one ever sees a ghost cow. Think about how many cows were slaughtered in this country in just the last, 200 years. Billions of them. Where are their ghosts? Where are the ghost chickens? Why does no one ever see a ghost chicken? Are we the only things that make ghosts?
You really thought about it.
I have thought about it. It's just nonsense. It's just daft, isn't it? Oh my God. Calling up 999. I've seen a ghost chicken.
Oh my God. Okay. The Nazis built, in at number 11, a secret base in Antarctica.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to drill for oil eventually, or maybe they just thought, like launch us. Maybe they're going to put all their V2s there as a last resort place to hide out at the end of the war to, maybe to build there find a nuclear bomb. Or
it's one of the most inhospitable places in the world, and it's miles from anywhere. And the vast majority of countries, so there's 200 countries in the world, 150 of them are in the Northern Hemisphere.
Right.
In fact, I think it's less than 50 that are the number of countries that are fully in the Southern Hemisphere is about 30 or something. It's hardly any.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, there was a guy called Colin Summerhayes who wrote a 21-page document saying they definitely didn't, with all the facts and figures and proof. And yet, obviously, the conspiracy theorists, there is. You would say that, wouldn't you?
But I mean, the question why is always the one that demolishes most conspiracy theories. Because, why would they bother? They were fighting a war for their existence. They were being attacked on 2 fronts. By that point, Russia, the Allied powers, which included the USA, and they're like, "Hey guys, I was thinking we should build a base. Okay, we're going to build it. I don't know, somewhere sensible. Gibraltar, Singapore. That's been taken over by the Japanese. No, we'll build it in Antarctica." And they're like, "That's the furthest place from anywhere."
But they did build it on the moon, right? Because you saw that film.
Oh yes.
Definitely on the moon. They got to the moon because Apollo 11 lands and the white guy in his white astronaut, he bombs out and the Nazi walks up and punches him. See?
In my movie of HMS Apollo, we get to the moon, but the Norwegians have got there first.
All right. Well, there's an H.G. Wells film, isn't it? First Man on the Moon. They get the NASA lands, and then there's a guy Then they find Victorian books and stuff on there, and they find the guy in the old age home, and he says, "Well, yeah, we went there in 1884." Have you not seen that film?
No, but in my version, the Norwegians like hurdy hurdy ho, we beat you again, stupid British people, and the like
Emerson's up there,
but
going,
nobody knows because their transmitter's not working, and they ask the Brits if they can they ask Neil and Buzz and Mike if they can borrow their Michelle Michelle Collins in my version.
Michael Collins,
Michelle Collins, trans woman.
All right. Excellent. So, also in EastEnders.
Neil Armstrong has been played by Idris Elba. The guy from the Kumars, he's got Sanjeev Bashir, is it? Yeah. He's got to play Buzz Aldrin, who wears cricketing whites and has exploding cricket balls. And Michelle Collins is going to be played by the trans woman from Doctor Who.
Yep.
You know who I mean? I've forgotten her name, but
Perfect.
I'm just the number of gammon that I'm going to wipe out with that movie.
Yeah, you would. There's been a number of films, like not only is Superman upsetting the gammon, obviously
Superman's woke, yes.
Yeah, Superman woke is good. Obviously, we can't say why because we don't want to ruin it. But in a way, the Pope film was, a bit wokey. Yeah, and that would have upset a few of them.
Yeah. Conclave.
Yeah. Bit wokey.
I'm sorry, Graham, you can't be the Pope because you're not a Catholic.
I was trying to remember because he's in. It's very Fiennes he's in 28 years later. Yeah. Honestly, he plays the same character that he plays in Conclave. He's I'm tremendously sorry, but I am the gentleman cannibal, and I will have to eat you now. But first of all, would you like a nice cup of chamomile tea? And he's like so softly spoken and like nice.
Well, other than sort of obviously playing Amon Goth in Schindler's List, I watched Skyfall, as you know, we're watching all the Bond films. We watch Skyfall.
Yeah, he plays M, doesn't he?
And he's like, "Okay, Bond, are you ready? Are you ready to go to work?" And he's kind of playing himself in a way. There's work to be done, Bond. Are you ready? I was always ready. It's always that.
Questionable Absanity says the aliens developed sophons so we didn't see them.
Yeah.
Is that from Three Body Problem? Is that sophons? Is that sophons? Is that Three Body Problem? Sorry, Questionable Absanity. If I've muddled up my references there, I apologize profusely.
Well, talking to movies, why we need the answer to that question is The Matrix. We are all living in the Matrix. Now, you disprove that. Hey, we're all batteries and we are in this world, and I'm not taking the blue pill.
Do you know what? Star Trek did it so much better. Star Trek Next Generation, the episode, you probably know the name, where they bring back Moriarty and he takes over the ship, and then they put him in a box so he can live in the box in his own simulated universe. Yes. And then Barclay at the end of the episode's like, computer off, end simulation, or whatever he says. Just because he's like, not sure. That same idea, Matrix, same idea has been used in Black Mirror as well. Are we in a simulation? No.
Yeah. Because all this coincidence we have, we don't want Trump to be president. Trump is president because we are putting
coincidence. That's a misfortune.
Everybody says it. So the computer program says everybody talk. We don't want climate change. So we all talk about climate change. So the Matrix thinks, we want climate change.
To lose one parent was unfortunate. To lose both, it sounds like carelessness. It's in the SCP field, the someone else's problem field, says Graham.
I like it.
From Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The Gammons are calling the new HBO Harry Potter series woke because they have cast a coloured man in the role of Snape. And there's a mixed race girl playing Hermione, I think. So, how dare they? How very dare they? This is why I want to remake the moon landings, HMS Apollo, but the British moon landings in 1969, but just switch everything up, and just I've written the whole thing to just enrage the gammon on every level.
Yeah, well, every opportunity. The smell of gammon in the morning.
It's funny though that the main adversary, the British space rocket gets robbed by the Vietnamese, and they have to go to Vietnam and fight the Vietnam War in order to get to the space rocket. But it turns out the French all along. It was dastardly Napoleon X, the 10th, or Nappy X as he's known, who sits there stroking his big white cock. And he's the bad guy. It's a piss take of James Bond. It's a piss take of all these historic movies that Americans make, like The Patriot and Braveheart and U-571, where they just make shit up that didn't happen in the past. So I'm like, okay, you want to make stuff up? and undermine what the Brits did in the past, I'm going to fucking undermine what you did in the past. So in the whole movie, no one says the word America. Someone almost says it once, but they actually say Armenia. Paula, thank you very much for the £5 British. We all have part our vision, which we hallucinate, where the nerves bundle goes through our retina. I think this explains ghosts. Yeah. Also, I think people being half asleep explains ghosts.
I like it. That's really good. Yeah, that's probably. Yeah. It's a good explanation, Graham. So you still haven't disproved the Matrix.
Oh, the Matrix, because what's the point? Okay, well, in the Matrix, right?
Because we had a nuclear war. Our AI monsters put us in batteries to power
themselves.
Why? Because they can't get the sun to power themselves anymore.
There's still molten lava in the earth. Geothermic heat is still there. The tides will still be there. There'll still be wind.
Yeah, but humans
put a load of wind turbines up.
Yeah, but humans are 12 volt. They're lovely. They're easy, you know. Nice.
Also, robots don't need food, so they don't need the sun to grow the food. So what do they give a fuck? There's loads of energy on Earth that they can use. Humans are like the worst possible form of energy you could have. In fact, if you did want to use living biomatter for energy, use cows.
Okay. You might have persuaded me back to the cows.
A neural net, though. A neural net. And we have discussed this before because that was the original thing in the script. It was a neural net. And the Warner Brothers exec said, that sounds a bit too complicated for our stupid audience. So can you make it a battery? But yeah, a neural net, that kind of makes more sense. Wire up our brains together. But why do it like this?
Loads of episodes. The end of the Voyager episode was kidnapping people for their brains. There was an episode in Enterprise where they kidnap crew members to run the AI to repair ships. Lots of episodes where neural nets are more powerful. Okay, we're not living in the Matrix, according to Graham.
But even if we were, so what? I'm with Cypher on this. If this steak tastes like a fucking steak, why would I want to be in the real world, which is shit? Everyone looks minging. There's no
be famous.
The food is awful. Yeah. There's no sun. There's no fuck that. I'd much rather live in the Matrix. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
Welcome to the real world.
No,
did you see the shit rave they had? The shit rave. Fuck that. I didn't even like raves. It went on forever.
Yeah, I know. I think I want in. I want to be famous. I don't want agenda. I don't want agenda grits. I don't want Trump. I want in and I want steak.
Chris has got a beautiful point here. The human brain is a complex organ. It needs to find rationale in everything, and when it can't find rationale, it goes haywire and starts making things up to make sense of things. Couldn't agree more, Chris.
Yeah. Okay, moving up then. 13, we did The Moon Isn't Real, Flat Earthers. Right, this is one of my favorites because I've read an entire book on this subject. The Titanic didn't sink.
It did
because it was the Titanic that didn't.
Sent submersibles down and we've seen it.
It was the Olympic that sunk, so it's identical.
What would be the point of that?
Well, because the Olympic was hit by a battleship called the Hood and broke its back. So they needed to claim the insurance on. So what they did was the Olympic, they got the Titanic and sent that out. Well, got to get this right. Yeah, they said they put all the badges on the Olympic that was broken and sent it out as the Titanic. And
badges like Brock.
And they sunk it purposely, and they were hoping that there were going to be rescue ships, the Mount Temple, the California, and all the other ones that are around by, but they were all too far out. It was out of position.
They did that at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And they got it all wrong.
Yeah.
And it sank. And so the idea was they would claim on the insurance and they would have 2 good ships. That was the plan. But anyway, it didn't quite.
This smacks a little bit of famous people.
There's a book called Beyond the Titanic.
Yeah.
A book on this whole conspiracy.
It smacks of plates. Famous people just can't die. And so when a famous person dies, and this happens all the time, it's like, oh, they must have been killed to distract people. And I'm like, from what? What possible thing is going to happen to us? And we'll go, okay, well, we'll stop worrying about Gaza now. We'll stop worrying about the war on trans people now because, this celebrity died. I'm like, okay. But yeah, famous ships can't just sink. And I think it's that, it is that argument from incredulity, isn't it? It's like, this can't just happen because then it means that random, horrible things happen.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. We'd rather live, some of us would rather live in a world where evil people make things happen. And at least then that sounds more rational and less scary. The real truth of it all, as Alan Moore said, is the world is rudderless. There's no one in charge. No one knows what they're doing. Adults don't know what they're doing. You think when you're a kid, oh yeah, grown-ups know what they're doing. They don't. They're making it up as they go along.
Yeah, I hope that's right, because I would hate to think there was a load of billionaires trying to take over the world and have 6 tech bros run the world and grade us.
They're not making a secret about it. They're telling everyone what they're doing. You know?
Yeah, because Curtis Yargan's stuff. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, Titanic. There's a great book called Beyond the Titanic. Now, obviously, it did sink. Of course, it did. But the Beyond the Titanic book is a really entertaining how they might have done it.
Well, Martin says the Olympic wasn't quite identical to the Titanic. The windows were different.
No, there wasn't, and because the A deck
had Windows 95, and the Titanic had Windows XP.
Well, probably that's true. The A deck on the Titanic was walled in, had glass. It was covered, and on the Olympic it was open. And some of the rivets were, because they did. This is how I watched the disproving of this. They brought a big section of the Titanic up, and they worked out which bit it was, and the rivet formations were different from the Olympic at that same section. So it was proven. But the book is entertaining of how they did it.
Well, Trip and Sarah in the chat think it was an insurance scam, and I'm like, there were fucking horrific insurance scams. There was a famous one, which I've based one of my scripts on, the consequences of this happening, which happened in a ship that was also registered in Liverpool at the time. And that was a slave ship. This was in the 1780s, and they purposefully pushed nearly all of their slaves overboard as an insurance scam.
Jeez.
Absolutely horrific. And they claimed there wasn't enough water, and they were in distance of landing in Jamaica, and it was raining at the time.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So that happens, and we know about it because there was a court case in Britain at the time, and the people who did it were found liable, and all this kind of stuff kicked off, and it was a big precursor to the actual abolition of slavery. And it was the same people involved in this case, like William Wilberforce, who went on to, help with the abolition of slavery. But no one talks about it because it's done and dusted. We know that it was an insurance job. Whereas 9/11, the Titanic, JFK, might be an insurance job,
Yeah. Well, it's a good... All I'm saying, the book is entertaining. It's not true, but it's entertaining. Okay, Apollo 17 wasn't the last moon mission.
Why?
Well, I've heard this one several times. There's a lot of documentaries on Netflix about it. They went and they had a bit of a punch up with aliens and alien equipment in Apollo 17.
Well, there's a movie called Apollo 18, which
I've seen it. Yeah, the rocks come alive. Yeah. And there's lots of fake documentaries on Netflix about Apollo 17, finding equipment, getting free, coming back, having to send another mission, but not documented. Okay, I'm not going to do 16. Zombies can rise from the dead. I don't think anybody believes that.
Well, Trump.
Yeah, true. And
from the political bed.
Yeah, and we're not to get... Bill Gates is making fake snow is another one, but I've never heard that one.
Snow is in cocaine. He's making fake cocaine.
Yeah, the Betts mystery sphere is alien material. I've never heard of the Betts mystery sphere. I don't know if anybody else did. Right, this is one I like. One Amelia Earhart was eaten by crabs.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a 7.5 out of 10.
What, you think it's real, or just
Yeah. So Amelia Earhart's remains were found quite soon after she disappeared with, was it Frank Noonan, her co-pilot, navigator, Frank Noonan.
Yeah.
On the Pacific Island near where they were supposed to be going, and obviously they hit some bad weather, turbulence. I don't fucking know. They ran out of fuel. Anyway, they crashed, and the theory is that they washed up on land, and Amelia Earhart tried to survive for X many weeks, months, on this island, but she would have been eventually eaten by crabs. Because the crabs that are on
coconut crabs,
crabs, because the crabs that are on that island will eat human remains.
All right.
So if she had washed up on the island, but they did find wreckage, they did find human remains in about 1941 or something. Or
do you think she was spying on the Japanese for the American government? Okay.
Why? That's the
Well,
worst.
that was part of the conspiracy, wasn't it?
If you're gonna spy, you don't tell everyone that you're getting onto a fucking plane and going up into the sky. You do it. This is like James Bond going, "Hey everyone, I'm a secret spy. My name's James Bond." You just don't tell anyone. You just do it.
Or unless you want them to know, because you're that, just to unsettle them, Okay. Right. So the Loch Ness monster, real.
Very, very good for tourism in Scotland, but
Very good for tourism.
yeah, I like the idea of there being a prehistoric monster living in a lake up in Scotland, but yeah, we can sense the the vibrations coming from
the Ted Danson film,
a galaxy that is like 12 billion light years away. I mean, the idea that like there's a monster living in the loch and no one's ever got any evidence of it apart from a blurry photo from the 1930s. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a 0.
Yeah, Doubting Thomas. There we go.
Yeah, I like the Amelia Earhart one though. That's plausible. And if you say why, well, she crashed. She was stuck on an island. She died, and the crabs fucking ate her remains.
It's like, how did Glenn Miller die? Right? There was a great documentary I watched the other day, which was I think they conclusively there was a documentary that I think they conclusively proved now why they think how he died. But it was but it was interesting that a lot of people just
Trip is saying Joe Rogan has helped push loads of conspiracies. Grew his fan base from random conspiracy shows because they were funny and entertainment. Ancient Aliens with Graham Hancock is the main one. I fucking hate Graham Hancock. I think he's a racist piece of shit, and I hate the way he shits all over the achievement of ancient peoples who weren't white. It's always the ones who weren't white. I've never heard anyone say that aliens built Stonehenge. Maybe there is that theory out there, but I've never heard anyone at a party or something look me in the eye, obviously high on cocaine, and gone on and on and on about how there was no way they could drag those blue stones all the way across from Wales. It couldn't have been done. They couldn't have just pulled those stones. But you hear it all the time about the Aztec pyramids, the Mayan pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids. It's like, no, they had the tools and they had the talent, and they fucking did it. And there's someone who's been to the pyramids several times and knows someone very close to me who's actually climbed up the big pyramid in the middle of the night. Can't say who it was like, but, I do want to go back to Egypt at some point. But, I've got to say, someone who's, been in those pyramids, all over the pyramids. And
the KFC next to the pyramids.
And the KFC next to the pyramid, yeah, absolutely.
It's not in the picture. It's not in the Spy Love Me when it's and he's there and it's bomb bomb bomb.
Yeah,
all sitting there in the light show. No KFC flashing in the background.
But like, if there'd been an iPod that was found that was 2,000 years old, okay, I wouldn't be able to explain that. But if it's a fucking bunch of rocks stuck on top of each other, I can explain that. Because you get lots of people and you pull and the rock lifts up.
Yeah.
But they did it on Easter Island. They did it for Stonehenge. They did it for the pyramids.
What about the Galactica going around the sun because it never went in? That's been freaking out.
Well, there you go. Third Eye Blind, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Hancock needs a hard slap. Yes, whether you're talking about Graham Hancock or Tony Hancock, the only man named after 4 parts of the human body, or Matt Hancock, they all deserve a slap. Actually, I'll take back Tony. He's quite nice guy.
Have a lot of these on Rogan. He has a lot of these guys that were in the military about flying saucers and aliens and all that stuff. He's always got these guys. There was one guy gave evidence to one of the big committees recently and said, we know aliens do exist. We are. And, it was all quite freaky stuff. It was big news at the time. And Rogan has all those guys on. I don't watch Rogan, but he, and I've got friends who are in the science community and in the military. How do you believe that stuff now? And it's like, they talk about it. They send me links and go, well, look at this guy. This guy's super hot on this. And, aliens exist.
Can I show you my new mic?
Go on.
So this is my normal mic, which weighs 1.5 kilograms.
Yeah.
This is my new travel mic. Isn't it cute? Oh, it's so cute and dingy. Now, it isn't the size of the mic that's important. It's what you do with it. Anyway, Sarah says there's a pyramid in Scotland. There is indeed. It's in the grounds of Balmoral, is it? It's the pyramid of Prince Albert that was constructed in memory of Prince Albert.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, in the 1800s. True story.
I think a lot of I mean, one of the another terrible not Netflix documentary was about a lot of the arts. It's not that aliens built the pyramids or built stone. You know, you look at this archaeologist, Egyptian archaeologist, was going through and he was saying, look at the cuts on these stones. These stones were cut by machinery, which we don't know how to replicate now, and it was probably done at the time, and it's just been lost into history. A lot of our history and all the wonders of the world, all that's been lost. So there has been movements forward in technology and advancement in knowledge that's then got lost and gone back, and we've gone in a different direction, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. So the pyramids were built by the old kingdom in Egypt, and by the time of the Middle Kingdom, like 1,000 years later, they didn't know how to make pyramids anymore. And that's why they buried their dead in tombs in the mountains. And the hills, not mountains, in the hills, in the Valley of the Kings and Queens. You know, and they could cut stuff out the rock. The Temple of Queen Hatshepsut, that's cut out the rock. It's fucking impressive. And then I've been to Petra. You know Petra in Jordan? It's all cut out the rock. It's Indiana Jones and the face
dog.
And the, what's it called? The Last Crusade. That's a real building.
Yep. Well, okay. There you go.
It's very impressive. But it doesn't go in very far.
The crescent when they ride out on the horses.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. Petra,
all right, okay.
Petra in
Indy was the name of the dog.
You weren't named after the dog.
Was Arnie in that film? Get to the chopper, 200-yard spread, no sound.
Martin Harrow saying there's a pyramid in Liverpool. There is a pyramid in Liverpool as well. What mode is it on? It's on the same mode as, is it the Everyman that it's on? The one with the Philharmonic on. They're like, that's Hope Street. It's not on Hope Street. Is it on Hope Street? I don't know. Anyway, there's a pyramid in Liverpool outside. I think it used to be a Scottish church, but now it's student accommodation. And apparently, according to Liverpool legend, the guy who's in the pyramid is a skeleton, and he's holding in his hand a winning flush of cards.
Okay.
He's sitting up at a table, and he's got his elbow on the table, and he's holding a winning flush of cards. So if you ever open up the pyramid, you'll find a skeleton.
All right.
I don't think it would work because I think they would have fallen apart in the intervening years, but you never know.
Okay. Right. 21. 5G gives you cancer and COVID-19.
Okay.
5G. See, we didn't have COVID. 5G was launched all over the world, and then suddenly COVID.
Yeah. We didn't have cancer before 5G.
Is that right?
No, we did have cancer.
But it could give you, it could be a form of cancer. It may not be the cat. It could be.
I knew someone back when I was living in Australia, right? And they worked. I'll tell you what they did as a job in a minute. But first of all, they smoked, they drank, they would take drugs when they went out on a Friday, Saturday night, right? Their job was an asbestos removal, right? That was their job. They wouldn't have a microwave in their house because they thought they'd get cancer from the microwave.
Oh, wow.
True story. I mean, okay, yeah, I'm sure a magnet can give you cancer if it's, maybe if you climbed inside the microwave and it agitated your water molecules, made them rub against each other, created some friction.
There was an urban myth about a woman working in a pub and a big old microwave, wasn't there? It cooked her kidneys or something. That was a lot of those urban myths, but
not quite how it works, but yeah.
I don't believe that one. I'm not going to go. Number 22 was a solar flare caused the Titanic to sink. That's another weird one. I think it was
an iceberg. They were traveling during iceberg annihilation season.
But this is the thing. It says it affected the radio and the radar, both of which
hadn't been invented.
Did have a radio, but it was Morse code.
It's Morse code.
radar?
Radar. Yeah, 30 years later. Yeah, maybe. Okay. But yeah, just to go back into the microwave thing that we were talking about, you were saying that someone got cooked by it. It was developed as a weapon by the US military.
Yeah.
They were like, can we cook people from a distance? And the answer is yes, you can. You need a magnetron.
Okay.
Oscillating at the right frequency.
The microwave we've in our house, that where Emma and I moved into this house, the previous owner left a microwave in the office, and it looked like somebody had been playing football with it for a month. It's got a dent in every panel, and it works. So we moved it from the office into the house because we didn't have a microwave, and we use it. But when we turn it on, we run for a bunker. We never stand anywhere near it when it's on.
Yeah, but I mean, we do stuff all the time which causes cancer. Eating red meat causes cancer. Smoking fucking causes cancer. Sunbathing, sunbeds. The sun is a huge radioactive explosion in the sky, and it is firing out radiation like you will not believe. We're protected by the ozone layer. We're protected by our magnetic fields created by our molten core.
Yeah,
like the middle of a Cadbury's cream egg.
Do is pump loads of carbon monoxide in there and trap the heat that lovely sun it generates, because it would kill us.
I'll have no way of getting out. Yes.
Don't.
The
Black Knight satellite is an alien spacecraft.
Why?
So, do you know about the Black Knight satellite? It's a big lump of junk that's just floating around the Earth, and everybody thinks that it's alien, but it's just a piece of old junk.
Can I just say, right? Look, based on the physics that we know. And we know quite a lot of physics. I mean, we're burrowing down now into things like
I've watched the Big Bang Theory,
the Higgs boson, right? Yeah. So we know a lot about it, right? how it generally works.
Yeah.
We're never going to visit another planet that has life on it, like intelligent life. I mean, we might find some highly evolved forms of plankton under the permafrost of Europa, which is being kept warm by thermal vents in deep underground. But as far as intelligent life is concerned, it's just not going to happen because the distances involved are absolutely freaking insane.
You mean, when I'm Prime Minister, I'm not going to get to do my 4th of July speech. We will not go into the night. This will be our Independence Day, blah, blah, blah. And everyone jumps in our tornadoes and we will fly off and fight aliens, and you upload your laptop into the alien craft and lower its shields. We're not going to do that.
No.
Oh.
I'll tell you what we could do, right? And I don't know if anyone's made a movie about this, but they should, right? Aliens invade. And how do they invade? Not physically, because that would be impossible. They invade in the same way that Wolverine went back in time in Days of Future Past, and the way that Sam Beckett bounced around time in Quantum Leap. It's their minds. They project their minds. They beam their minds to a squishy human, and they take over a squishy human's brain.
Oh, right.
So there's a human walking along, and then suddenly their brain... everything in their brain is replaced by an alien who's like, oh, I'm now here on Earth. And that's the only way I could see it working, because you could send that pulse of information, if you had the technology to do it, at the speed of light. So it would only take 4 years to get here from Alpha Proxima. Instead of millions of years to come here and then do what? Build a fucking satellite? Build a stone object? I mean, that's another thing. Prophecies.
Maybe they're just fucking with us. Well, we always go and find some bloke that nobody will believe, and we put little spikes, and we get out and we go make beep noises.
Yeah, kind of childish, really. But yeah, exactly. And it kind of beggars belief, doesn't it, that they would do that? But it's also like prophecies. So people say there's prophecies in the Bible.
Yeah,
I've not read the bit of the Bible that says in 2001 Apple will steal a march on Sony, who at the time owned a quarter of the world's records, and they will create an iPod. And it will take the online world by storm. And it's like...
Was this Brian Blessed?
It's always something vague, isn't it? It's always like, on the 11th hour of the 19th day of the day of the fortune, there'll be a light in the sky. And then... And it's using these... What are they called? Barnum statements. Barnum statement, named after P.T. Barnum of the Greatest Showman fame, and they are vague statements that apply to pretty much everyone. You know, your horoscope is always Barnum statements. Yeah. You will meet a stranger. Of course, you fucking will. There's 8 billion people on the planet. If you manage to go a whole day or a week without meeting a stranger, you're doing quite well.
Yeah, that's like me looking at you and going, "I'm going to read your fortune." You're a traveller, Graham. The globe. You got the leather hat.
Oh, wait.
You like nature,
I bet you've got a drawer full of photographs that you really need to sort out. Oh yeah, I do actually. I'm being to getting away and getting around to doing it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it is that. Okay, Black Knight Satellite is not a spacecraft. We can go with that one. Right. Sirens responsible for shipwrecks. Not true. I'm not going to do that one.
Nope. 10 out of 10. Yes. All shipwrecks, sirens every time.
Every time. You think that is?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Tim Buckley, Song of the Siren, covered by the Cocteau Twins.
Yeah.
Which is just one woman, which always blew my mind. But yeah, fantastic song. I think it was all them.
All right, you're up there for the sirens.
One of my favourite paintings by Waterhouse, who is one of the great Pre-Raphaelite artists, is the Sirens. He did Odysseus Amongst the Sirens, which I love. But he also did one where it's a young man looking up from the water at this beautiful dark-haired woman who's looking down at him, and he's like, "Why?" And she's like, "Fuck you, that's why."
Synchronicity back interesting for me was that one of my favorite pictures that I saw in a pub, which is have you seen it? It's the steamship pulling the naval wooden masted ship out. It's the replacement of the old naval ship with the modern, and it's sad. It is a very sad picture. And it's one of my favorites. It's on the wall in the pub. My wife trying to get me a print, and and it brings me profound sadness. It's in Skyfall. Sitting in the National Gallery looking at it, and goes, and sits down when he maybe eats Q for the first, looking at that picture. And I was just talking about that a few hours before. I was like, synchronicity. And my wife goes, it's coincidence. But anyway, it's what it is.
Honestly, you get two decent coincidences, you got yourself a religion.
Yeah, you do. That's true. Right. Planet X is a home to a world called Nibiru.
No, it's too far away.
Okay.
There might be a Planet X, or maybe a Planet 9 now, because Pluto's no longer a planet. But there might well be another planet outside the realms of Pluto, but it's so far away and really hard to detect.
Well, it says here, when the news of an undiscovered planet in the solar system was revealed, which is called Planet X, people said it housed a theoretical world called Nibiru, which would lead to our apocalypse on April the 23rd, 2018. And it says here, apparently we made it.
Well, we had the Mayan calendar ran out, didn't it, in 2012?
Oh yeah,
in December 2012.
Well, the Mayan disaster films in 2012. Weren't
they? So they had to go down to W.A. Smith and buy a new calendar.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 31st December every year the calendar ends. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's the millennium. The bugs gonna kill us.
I've met Mayans and I asked them and they went, no, it's bollocks.
Yeah.
What can I say?
The Mayan said that. Well, also they were a bit pissed off about Santorini blowing,
But the Mayans, like most groups of people on the planet, really hate it when Whitey over here comes over and completely misinterprets their ancient texts. They're like, first of all, fuck off. Secondly, fuck off.
Oh.
Fuck off. One Angry Pagan saying in the text about conspiracy theory saying that dinosaurs still exist. Yes, they do. Birds, clearly. Yeah. Avian dinosaurs.
And people who don't like trans people, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, 26. Queen Elizabeth. This is very, very apt for the old anti-trans movement. Queen Elizabeth was a man.
Elizabeth I.
Yeah, Elizabeth I died as a child to prevent the end of the royal line, but she was replaced by a young boy. The theory is said to explain why she remained. She didn't, do the deed with anybody, though I think she did with the Earl of Essex. So that's another story.
So there were 7 kids that Henry VIII had with his first wife, Catherine of Aragon.
All right,
and they all died.
You've seen 6,
apart from Mary, right? So why wouldn't it? Just, they said one of the boys survived. Wouldn't that have made more sense? If you're going to replace one.
Hey, didn't write that. Yeah.
And there's a whole armada thing from Mary's husband, who was the King of France, who was like, hey, I'm not happy about the fact that I don't own Britain now after my wife died, because she was the Queen of England and I was the king. Technically, somehow.
Queen of Scots.
Yeah. So, no different Mary. Bloody Mary the First.
Oh, Bloody Mary. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
She was our first proper queen, wasn't she, Bloody Mary? And then we had Elizabeth, the Golden Age. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Elizabeth was a woman. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the whole...
I may have the body of a woman, but I have the heart of a lion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Is it a stick law, Blackadder? No, ma'am, because when you throw it away, it comes back. Well, that's no good, is it? Because when I throw things away, I don't want them to come back. Only line from Blackadder I can remember.
Life without you would be like a pencil without lead. Pointless. Okay, Tim Buckley song. Yeah, I think Pete's agreeing with me about Songs of the Siren. Have you heard John Grant's old band, the SARS version? No, I haven't. I'm going to write it down because I like John Grant.
He's writing it down.
I am the greatest motherfucker, which is one of my favourite songs. When I do my mini-series about Boris Johnson, that's the theme tune to it.
Excellent.
It's called Little Boot.
Get our friend to play Boris Johnson in the film.
We're going to get Hugh Grant to play Boris Johnson.
Oh, you're not going to get your friend to do it?
No, Boris Johnson in a fat suit.
Oh, okay.
For reasons. But it's not Boris Johnson, it's just about a Conservative politician.
Right. Excellent.
Who bears a lot of resemblance to Boris Johnson.
Okay. This is one I remember at the time. COVID-19 has 5G chips in it.
5G chips?
Yeah.
What's a G chip? Does that make it go faster?
It's a chip that...
Haven't we already covered this one?
No, we didn't.
Oh, the vaccination has got chips in it.
That was it. It was I can't even remember what that was now. 5G gave you cancer and COVID. Yeah. This doesn't give you cancer or COVID.
The chip. What does the chip do?
In it.
What does the chip do?
Well, it's supposed to monitor us and know what we're thinking and
like our phones.
I didn't invent that, but this was connected to Microsoft, wasn't it, at the time?
So presumably, I mean, it wouldn't just be like a near field communication device, like what an NFT, like that doesn't have power. That's the equivalent of a magnetic strip on a credit card. This would be something that's actively collecting data on you, and then
microscopic
transmitting that data. Okay, where do they get the power from?
Don't blame trans people, mate.
You're always transmitting stuff, you are.
Yeah. I think that what I like about this is that it goes on to say theorists at the time who thought this was true started circulating a circuit diagram of the 5G chips, which actually ended up being the circuit diagram for a foot pedal for a guitar.
Nice. Well, that makes sense,
I like that one.
How many have we got left? We've got to crack on here.
Yeah. We've got a half stop at 7:30. So 3 left.
Okay. No, that's plenty of time. Yeah.
We've got plenty of time. Chemtrails.
Oh.
And people believe this. Politicians in America believe chemtrails.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's got a bill to ban chemtrails. But listen. Come here, everyone.
Yeah.
Just let her do it. Because if that bill goes through, we can start suing the makers of oil.
Yeah.
Because we can say that they're dispersing this stuff into the sky.
Yeah.
That's actually damaging to the health of Americans.
Yeah.
Shh, let it do it. Just
chemtrails
don't say anything.
Yeah.
Chemtrails. Yeah. All right. You want to stop them? Yeah, they're a bad thing. Definitely. Yeah.
It's just the air. But it is just the warm exhaust in cooler atmosphere that makes the tail. And then you come down, you don't see it. And you go up, it gets cold, and you see it. It's like
go out on a cold day and breathe. There's your chemtrail right in front of your face.
Yeah. So we've got 2 left. We've sort of covered this one. The abominable snowman actually lives in Asia. We've been to Asia, have you?
Yeah. I've been over the Himalayas from
when you were there?
Nepal to the to Tibet. No, I didn't run into the Yeti. I'm yet to run into a Yeti, but people make up. I mean, one of the big problems with conspiracy theories is they are people who believe them distrust everyone, but trust the people who come up with mad shit.
Yeah,
and it's a weird form of like I appreciate they don't trust people when stuff is said, and I am completely on board with the Royal Society, whose slogan, motto is something like in verba nulla, which means on nobody's word. So don't believe anyone. What you want to do is scientific experiments and suss it out for yourself. And every time one of these crackpots who doesn't believe in climate change, doesn't believe the world is round or whatever, has actually bothered to get off their fucking lazy arse and travel to Antarctica or send up a weather balloon or drill for ice in the Arctic. They've gone, oh, actually, no, the science is right. 100% of the time.
Bloke down the pub is always going to top science.
Yeah.
It's like that guy that was on Question Time. Do you remember he was talking about to the virologist during COVID? And he went, I'm doing a degree in physics. I think he was doing a degree in. He was a second year physics student. And this guy was the number one UK's virologist. Yeah, good luck, mate.
Yeah.
So did you meet any llamas that could cook?
Yes. Yeah, but they're in South America. They're not in the Himalayas. They're the Andes.
Llamas that can cook.
Yeah. Llamas can cook.
I was gonna.
Oh no, sorry, silly me. It's alpacas.
I was going to go. So when you're in Tibet, did you meet the Delia Lama? You see,
you bet.
Just rock joke. It's funny. Delia Lama. Delia cook. I don't know.
I met a lemur. I met a lemur in Madagascar, but I never met a lemur in Lima in Peru.
You just didn't get my Delia Lama.
I did.
I'm really hurt. It just didn't even get a didn't even get that.
Do you know what? I still haven't set up my little tank, my squeaky tank, to go across the screen when one of us tells
You need to do that because there's a lot of
joke.
bad jokes, especially for me.
Dad jokes.
Oh my god! So the last one: internet routers can lead to harmful 5G radiation.
Again, this misunderstanding of radiation. Going out in the sun is way more dangerous than mobile phone masts. Remember 20 years ago, it was all about mobile phone masts?
Yep.
Jasper Carrot was leading. This sounds like a fucking fever dream now. Jasper Carrot was leading the national resistance against mobile phone masts. But here's the funny thing, right? The mobile phone mast near your house is actually not transmitting that much stuff. It's actually receiving most of the stuff that it gets, right? And anything that it transmits is high up and it's way above where anyone is. If you are there with a phone against your head, the signal is going into your head.
Yeah.
It's right there. And if you are concerned about electromagnetic radiation, don't use a phone.
Yeah.
A mobile phone, anyway. Use a landline.
There was an episode of Judge John Deed about somebody who got brain because of a dodgy phone. But I mean, I remember people always wondering. I mean, at that time, you would see on cheap housing, they would put all the, because some people believe this, because on cheap housing, council blocks, you'd see these fucking great masks. And you were thinking, if you live in the top flat of that building, right underneath that mask, are you going to get irradiated? Now, if you believe it or you don't see it on posh housing, or you don't see it on lovely, you just see it.
I mean, that's more aesthetics than science, though, isn't it?
So? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, radio waves are harmless to humans. I mean, we know this.
Well, just to finish off the conspiracy, so the 5G truthers that thought this was really true, they sold Faraday cages.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
For routers.
For dickheads.
Over your router. But guess what that did?
It stopped the router from working.
If not the router.
Because it's a fucking Faraday cage. Of course it's going to.
I really like that.
It's stupid. It burns.
It was like do you remember Russell Brand saying he was selling those necklaces that block Wi-Fi, and he was doing it on an outside camera, which was obviously broadcasting on for 5G and Wi-Fi. But anyway, it was...
Oliver Brown says some conspiracy theories are like what ifs. Yeah, most conspiracy theories are set up to make money for somebody usually.
Yeah.
And the other reason most conspiracy theories exist is to demonize a minority. So there are plenty of conspiracy theories about trans women who do all these terrible things, apparently.
Apparently.
Because I like, doing a bit of research in between my shows. So I was researching today, right? Just to cheer us all up. How much more likely your kid is to get shot in America than in this country?
Oh, I would imagine it's pretty high.
That's over 1,000 times more likely. 1,000 times more likely.
Yeah.
That is mind blowing. That is just like, how could they put just what?
We've got to protect the little kiddies, right? We don't want abortion, and we've got to protect them from the evil trans people. But if they get shot at school, I'm fine with that.
They have more kids die from a firearm every 3 days than we have had in the last 10 years.
Unbelievable.
And they've got more dangerous cars over there because the cars are all big beasts and they can't see over the bonnet. And if they hit a kid,
nobody's buying our horrible cars.
Kids not coming back.
Yeah.
And so I was getting all the stats on how much more dangerous it was to be a kid in America than it is in the UK. And if someone wants to make up a conspiracy about why this is, I'll be with it. I'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. Make up a conspiracy. Make
population control.
Yeah, make people interested in this conspiracy that you've got, because there's a grain of truth in it that America is insanely dangerous, but they don't. They never do. But don't forget, World War II was founded on conspiracy theories. It was the old stabbed in the back theory, espoused by the Nazis, who said that World War One was lost because of the Jews.
Yeah. And they didn't like trans people.
Yep. The reason why we're not doing anything about climate change when we should is because of conspiracy theories.
Yep.
So people go, oh, they're harmless, they're funny, you know, Loch Ness Monster and stuff like that, but they're not.
Yeah.
People are suffering in this world right now because of the conspiracy theories and lies that get out of hand. The pogroms in Russia at the turn of the century were fueled by the protocols of the Elders of Zion, which was a fake book that was made to make it sound like the Jews were trying to take over the world. And this has happened time and time again through history. And people who embrace conspiracy theories, who I have met in my life, and obviously anecdote isn't data, but they've all been thick. Every single one of them has been thick as mint.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think,
not a coincidence.
I obviously in my work, before I used to look around with a lot of military training scientists, and people who have traveled. I mean, those two, super bright scientists, and also people who travel. They are, they don't believe this rubbish.
No,
they just don't.
We've seen the world,
and the nicer people.
Do you know what it is as well? This is enough. There's so much of the world that is incredible and wonderful and awesome. Yeah. Like, I watch all of the Attenborough documentaries. I love them. They're my favourite thing about the BBC. There's not a lot to love about the BBC these days. But Doctor Who and David Attenborough, they are two things to love about love about the BBC.
And The City Is Ours with Sean Bean.
Yes. But you find that people just go, this is enough. I don't need to invent extra things. I don't need an extra dimension. I don't need ghosts. I don't need yetis to make, I've been to the Himalayas. I've seen Everest with my own eyes. I do not need a yeti up there to make it more exciting.
Nope.
Simple as that.
No, I agree. I think it's
probably offended some people watching this going, I'm not thick. I love conspiracy things. I'm like, sorry.
No, I think it is. I do, I do come across people that I would have thought would be a better who've gone down some rabbit holes. But I like conspiracies. I love the Titanic one, which I read the book on it, and I a bit of a buff on that. But so those things are quite interesting. I love JFK, right? The film. That's a great
back
film.
And to the left, back and to the left.
Back and to the left.
Yeah, because the seats at the back were higher up because obviously people weren't there to see the driver. They were there to see JFK, so he was higher up.
Yeah, and a lot of people believe JFK, right? They believe that film.
Also, the thing about him moving back after being hit from the back at the head, and he moved back. Well, that's because the exit wound was a lot bigger than the entry wound. Physics.
You see, you're showing your newfangled science stuff. We're a post-facts world now. We don't believe in science.
I find science endlessly fascinating. I am fascinated by the interplay of the planets, by atoms. I'm fascinated by evolution. It just blows me away at the beauty and the complexity, but also the basic simplicity of it, the things that drive evolution and the mechanisms that allow that to happen is just wonderful and awesome. And I love the idea that we're connected to the very first spark of life on this planet. We all are. We're all related. And we share DNA with not just, chimpanzees. We share DNA with sea sponges and giant redwood trees and cabbages. We share DNA with every living thing on the planet.
Yeah.
That is just...
There was it voted for Trump, right? The sea sponges.
Yeah, the sea sponges. I find that just amazing that we are so intrinsically linked, not by the Force, not by God, I believe in the Force. There's a good, but there is something that links all living things on this planet. And it's DNA. We've all got DNA.
Yeah,
and it's all just got more complex over millions and millions and millions of years. Of course it would. Why would it not? That's just wonderful. It's had to adapt to its surroundings, and anything that had a slight advantage adapted. Bred more, whatever, and over millions of years, of course, you have evolution.
Random thought. You told me to put the rabbit in the middle, and I've just realized it makes me look like I got devil horns.
It does a little bit. It does a little bit. It does look like the rabbit's trying to eat you. I like it. I mean, it just looks really sinister. It's just because we were talking about conspiracy theories, so I thought
it is. We're down the rabbit hole.
Might be appropriate, but we're gonna have to wrap it up there because I know you've got a hard Fish deadline. Fish and chips. I can smell Kat making food in there. I can smell Kat. I can smell the food that she's preparing. But yeah, it smells really good. So I'm gonna go and eat. But before we go, just a big shout out to Graham Price and Chris C and Alan Webber and Trip and One Angry Pagan and Elle and everyone else, Attila, in the chat. Thank you for
amazing.
Joining
Thank you so
us
much
on the show tonight.
We're only a little show. We're not widely watched, so we're glad you're here. Thank you.
we're just trying to get away from just talking about politics all the fucking time.
For a week.
Otherwise we'll go crazy, won't we, Rach? So I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:00 with Morning Brew. Are you around on Friday by any chance, Rach? Could you go?
You always ask me that. I sometimes am and sometimes not. It depends.
That's why I ask. I take nothing for granted.
I mean, if I can, I will. It is always, I never quite know where I'm going to be. I'm like you. I don't know what I'm doing the next day.
Well, that's my life.
Mine too.
Before we go, we have got some really good news to share with you, which is that our wonderful friend Mike Dix had his colonoscopy this afternoon, and they didn't find any cancer. They didn't find any cancer, so the chemotherapy has worked as far as we're aware. So we're partying. We're partying on behalf of Mike. So hopefully he'll be on the show on Friday to tell us all about that. And
we can rip the piss out of him a lot more than we have been.
Yes, we've been holding back, haven't we?
We've been holding back. Now we really get him.
Well, he said he was gonna go for his colonoscopy, and so me being me, I put on the Tom Cardy song of like, "Have you checked up your butt? Have you checked your butthole?" I put that song up, and then I felt, actually, if this goes badly, I'm going to feel terrible about.
But there's nothing. What I've learned about the politics chat, there's just no low.
There's no low. There's no low.
It just keeps going. Yeah.
That's why it's set up so it forgets the messages after a few days, because otherwise we'll be in so much trouble. Thank God no one can screen cap things online.
Yeah.
Anyway, so awesome news for Mike. And Mike's watching. Hi, Mike. How you doing? We love you, man. So we're super excited for Mike, and hopefully we'll see him on the show on Friday. And so until next time, I'll just say a huge thanks to my wonderful co-host Rachel. How you doing, Rach? You all right?
I'm good. I'm good. You're very welcome. It was great fun. Thank you.
Have some delicious. Sorry, what was it? Fish and chips? Did you say?
Yeah, fish and chips tonight. Well, my wife's having fish and chips. I have sausages. I have Savoy and chips.
Ooh.
I'm a Savoy girl.
Is Savoy when it's deep fried?
No, it's boiled.
Oh, it's boiled. Okay.
Yeah,
but do you ever deep fry it? Do you ever deep fry the Savoy?
I've not.
Is that a Scottish thing?
Not done that.
Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:00 for Morning Brew. And until then, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.